Up next in NBN's local sports news, the Knights secure a victory. Also, the North Stars win. Also, so do to the Falcons. Also, we'll have the rest of Newcastle's rugby league and rugby union competitions as well. That's coming up next. Good evening, my name is Connor Glenn McLeod with NBN's local sports news. Tonight, Edric Lee scores 5 out of 5 tries to break the try-scoring record as the Newcastle Knights secure a 38-12 win over the Gold Coast Titans. The Newcastle North Stars beat the Melbourne Ice in an incredible match of the Australian Ice Hockey League at Warners Bay.
See, here's Bray again, putting his head down, and the defence is sold. Here's Dan. Dan goes over. Doctor.
To 13 as he moves in.
He's hit that,
And Mayweather gives Hamilton a massive scare in round 10 of the Hunter Rugby Union competition as Mayweather Carlton beat the Hamilton Hawks. But first up, the Newcastle Knights are back on the good books again after securing a huge 38-12 win. It was all thanks to Edric Lee's record break of tries. That, of course, helped extinguish the number of tries broken from 4 to 5. 4 tries was previously a record for the Knights, and of course it was by their players. Edric Lee surpassed that by adding the number 5 last weekend. It was part of Newcastle's win against the Gold Coast Titans at McDonald Jones Stadium. It was a match that, of course, was a do-or-die win for Newcastle, and of course, as the Knights had to play in front of their home fans. It was a match that locals would never forget. The Titans had a player sent off, which Newcastle fans would, of course, be proud. But our other fans got a massive shock when David Clemmer was sent to the bin for punching. And of course, because of that, he missed the entire game. Meanwhile, the Knights will take on South Sydney this Friday. Adorable cuddles from the North Stars mascot Marty Moose and myself, and of course the Newcastle North Stars had a huge win on Saturday, which has now moved the North Stars to the top spot onto the Australian Ice Hockey League ladder. The 9-3 win was enough for Newcastle to move onto the top spot after the Sydney Bears had a win over the Ice Dogs, for which the Bears are in second. And of course, the Melbourne Mustangs were forced to call off their match against the Canberra Brave, which has now forced the Brave to be dropped to third. And also, the North Stars are in first. If a cuddle from Marty Moose, the North Stars mascot, is the one thing you need, and that is exactly what I got. Plenty of it. And of course, it was a great reunion. Then we finally got good news right in the first minute, and it was in the first half when the North Stars scored. It was their first goal. It was also a real-life gotcha to their rivals, the Melbourne Ice, as Newcastle scored both 2 goals. The North Stars were now on to 2 points. Then good news came in the second half as the North Stars scored their 3rd goal, levelling it at 3-3. And it was all part of a massive lot of revenge. And just as the announcer was speaking, the North Stars scored yet again, as the North Stars led 4-3. Then the North Stars scored yet again to quickly have a 5-3 lead. Then Newcastle scored one of their best goals. It was their 6th goal, leading 6-3. Then good news for the North Stars later, as they scored their 7th goal. And it certainly was 7-3. The Ice thought they'd scored, but however, both the North Stars and Ice were involved in a massive violent brawl.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe what I've just seen. It's become an all brawl out.
But thankfully, the ref had to quickly separate the two. And of course, my good friend Marty Moose came up, and of course, Marty and I shared hugs. Before me and Marty Moose shared more hugs yet again, which of course is a friendly thing. Then, in the 3rd and final quarter, the North Stars scored their 8th goal, with the North Stars leading 8-3. Then the North Stars scored their 9th goal. Then, minutes later, another brawl erupted. And of course, the refs had to quickly separate the teams and tear them apart. Good news came about for the North Stars, up at full time, moving to the top of the Australian Ice Hockey League ladder, winning the match 9-3. To round 10 of the Hunter Rugby Union, and Merewether Carlton has given the Hamilton Hawks a huge scare with a massive victory, while Singleton were too good for the Southern Beaches. With the rest of the Hunter Rugby Union's round 10 competition called off due to bad weather, and because of that a few teams had to have the bye, but only two games had to be played. First up was the Hamilton-Merewether clash, and of course Hamilton received a penalty and they deserved it, followed by Merewether next.
He was a 17-year-old kid off the back. Olamon had players. Oh, he doesn't need them. He's over. The stalwart, the veteran.
Then Hamilton scored.
Oh, he's just got that away. He's got that away. I don't know.
while Hamilton led by a point. Mayweather threatened to quickly break it all up.
He gets over, he scores! Young Lockie Miller.
Mayweather led 11-7.
Didn't even look like missing, straightened up and Miller. No, they go to the back this time now.
Meanwhile, Hamilton were having a rather good time. Rather, it was just it was tough for the Hawks, who couldn't secure a win. They had their first loss of the season. Even though Hamilton tried to secure a fight back, but it was not enough though. Mayweather were doing everything they can, and they certainly did just that. With Mayweather Carlton scoring plenty of tries.
Too much. It lines this one up, moves in.
Good chase there.
Looks nice off the boot again.
A successful conversion and goal became a good one. Mayweather Carlton scoring more.
Bright finds a bit of space. 5 metres out now, the Greens. Yeah, back towards Miller. Miller pushing the pass to Jackson. Jackson goes over. Yes, the
Mayweather scored once again.
As Bright moves in for this one.
Mayweather led 25-12. Then it was 27-12 when Hamilton grabbed onto the ball and scored.
And he has. I thought again he was held up, but this time
Play.
Even though they threatened to have a fight back, it just wasn't enough for the Hawks to secure a win. But thankfully, Mayweather had the good chance of securing one of the best upset wins of all. Mayweather had a penalty and were given this successful conversion.
Play there with Lamont going through as the dummy man. It could be on here. Lamont. Oh, good hands by Lamont. They won't stop play from there. He throws the
While there was no play, coming back,
Injury time as Clay moves in.
the goal conversion failed as the ball was on the left. But thankfully, it was enough for Mayweather to secure one of the best upset wins of all time, with Mayweather securing a huge 35-29 win over Hamilton.
That's a try.
Well, he'd be in two minds. He hasn't been hitting them very well all afternoon. As he moves in, great pressure again from the Merriweather
The
side.
Hamilton Hawks were hammered and bruised, as Mayweather Carlton were the victorious ones. Meanwhile, the other game, which was the second match, was also a good one. The Singleton Bulls were taking on the Southern Beaches. Because of it, the Southern Beaches had the ball, and then Singleton knew exactly what to do. The Southern Beaches scored 5-0. Even though there was no try, Singleton were awarded a penalty and were given 3 points to quickly have a conversion. They tackled the Southern Beaches by running with the ball and then tackling their defence. The Southern Beaches were quickly left tired after that. Singleton ran successfully with the ball. Singleton won 3 while the Southern Beaches won 10. Singleton ran along and scored one of the best tries in Hunter Rugby history. Singleton managed to quickly level it on with 10 all. Then scored with one of the best, and of course, it was all thanks to this one. Singleton were awarded yet another penalty. 13-10 is what Singleton were now leading. Singleton then later scored. But however, the Southern Beaches later did it. They were now leading by 17. Thankfully, Singleton managed to quickly get revenge back to secure the match-winning try and the game. As Singleton were given the best chance to get revenge. Singleton won the game 20 points to 17. Up next, the Newcastle Falcons secure a win in both the NBL 1 East men's and women's competitions.
I'm going to buy that.
Into big business now, are we?
Nope, I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise.
Who are you banking with now, Bob?
Newcastle Permanent.
No, I know. I mean your company banking.
Yeah, we're with the firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, I have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move.
That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our building society.
Here's more great electrical deals from the electrical specialist. This Westinghouse 275-litre frost-free refrigerator with large see-through slide-out fruit and vegetable crisper. Yours for $699. Save with this 454-litre frost-free Whirlpool with full-width chiller and pop-up cover, alone $999. From GE, a 627-litre side-by-side frost-free combo, our price $1999. These and many more great electrical deals available now.
Well, it was just absolutely incredible for the Newcastle Falcons, as both their men's and women's sides secured huge victories in the NBL 1 East competition over the weekend up at the Newcastle Basketball Stadium at Broadmeadow. The men secured a victory, and of course, Newcastle's women had to quickly secure revenge with a 101-57 victory. It's a game that the Falcons had on Saturday against Illawarra. And because of that, the men were first.
Good one, good feed.
Newcastle led by 2.
So, it is going to be hard to finish around the rim.
Both the Falcons and the Hawks were, of course, on 21 all.
West with that pull-up too.
Before Newcastle were on the good lead on 34-30.
Swarming defense by Illawarra. Doricott for 3.
Oh, no.
Jerry getting a piece of Morris's 3. Beastie with the block.
Meanwhile, Newcastle were doing everything great and securing back-to-back slam dunks.
Nice feed by
Because
Beastie.
of that,
Great pick and roll, turn the corner, had vision.
they were
Good hands by Doricott.
because of that, they were treating Illawarra like dirtbags as the Falcons had to quickly do what they do. Score right up at home at the basketball stadium at Broadmeadow.
Bad read by Newcastle defensively there.
The Falcons were now leading 55-53, and it was a massive one indeed.
Just like that.
The fourth and final quarter came. And of course, it was all Newcastle. Newcastle had the best and good chances.
Nice move by the two Malawash.
Newcastle led 63-58 against their rivals. The Falcons knew what to do in the fourth and final quarter. Slam dunk. Newcastle were now leading 70-64. And because of it, they were now doing something called revenge.
Great pass. Oh, Dawson with the follow after Terry missed.
It was a massive goal indeed from Newcastle, as the Falcons won 78-66. Meanwhile, Newcastle's women also had a victory, and of course, whenever everyone hears the word revenge, it's time to have revenge onto the Illawarra Hawks. That's what Newcastle's women absolutely wanted, and that plan all but worked right throughout the game. Newcastle led 19-12, which soon turned to 21-12.
Illawarra moving the ball well, getting it inside touch and score.
But it wasn't for long when Newcastle were leading 24-16.
Evans for three. Nice. Oh, sorry, I apologise. That's 12 for Cara now leading.
29-18 for Newcastle now. The Falcons were on fire. It was to teach their rivals a lesson.
Illawarra to the zone. Foy in the corner. Nice.
Newcastle were now leading 43-24, as the Falcons were given a penalty.
It's with a purpose, yep. Speaking of which, three from the corner for Munga.
But also scoring slam dunks.
Coach Cranny rolling the dice. Kingham for three.
The Falcons scored plenty of goals, right, as well as slam dunks against their rivals as part of a game of revenge.
Reflection by Foy. Ordoff, able for three. Munga. Foy.
The Falcons knew exactly what to do in the fourth and final quarter. It was time to quickly secure a win up at home at the basketball stadium at Broadmeadow.
Yeah, but have her do that at the NBL 1 level. Exactly. Yeah.
And getting revenge is the best part. Just like what they say, till death do us part.
Strong move. Fernandez in the hands. Oi.
The Falcons scored plenty in the fourth and final quarter and led 84-50.
Maybe not. Runner. I think there's
The Falcons won the match 101-57. Still in the NBL, one man, and of course, the Maitland Mustangs had a huge victory up at home against the Central Coast Crusaders. Maitland led by 2 right up in the first half, then had a marvellous time right in the second, third, and fourth and final quarter.
Absolutely. Trusted looking aggressive tonight. A clean mid-range look and a great rebound from Jack Edwards.
The home side knew exactly what to do.
And the foul for Gray. He's being aggressive tonight. Maitland swinging the ball.
Maitland were, of course, behind the Central Coast on 2 points.
Cranston low. That was His man didn't box him out. A lot of contact underneath on the
Both
steal from
teams
Maitland.
tied 37 all until Maitland broke the deadlock.
And that'll give Maitland the lead, 39-37, 40 to go. Some pressure from Maitland, careful of the foul.
And it certainly was.
Joined by Jack Edwards,
Maitland led 41-37.
Watson and Gray. Nice runner from Jack
Because of that, it was just marvellous for Maitland.
Really hold
It was just too strong for the Central Coast right throughout the game.
Matt Gray, great finish inside over Jenkins.
Jenkins with another rebound.
While that sound reminded all of us of the cash money register, Maitland had to fight back. And they certainly did just that.
Great drop off. And the foul.
Maitland were now leading 60-51,
Rebellion.
with the Central Coast threatening to fight back. By the time it came, it was all too late in the fourth and final quarter, as Maitland had already secured a victorious win.
And he gets the bucket. Maitland able to finish the possession and get the rebound. Practical out of nowhere. That's back-to-back threes.
Meanwhile, Maitland led on 70 points,
Nice pass from Gray. And he gets
securing a marvelous comeback win.
There's another fault from Central Coast. I'm surprised though. Turner's not in there. Parsons.
But however, the Mustangs women fell just short of a victory going down to the Central Coast, while the Mustangs men won. Meanwhile, to the Hunters NPL competition, and there was of course only one game that occurred on Saturday, where Western took on Maitland. And of course, Western scored the first goal. Western were leading 1-0. They thought they had a second, but it was stopped. Maitland were close to fighting back, but it was too fast. Then, Maitland finally got... Meanwhile, West still had the goal. As West were now 2-0. Finally, Maitland had a goal of their own. The scores were now 2-1. By the time that it was close though, by the time Maitland was close to securing a 2-2 draw, Western had did the damage to absolutely everything right throughout the game. As Western secured a match winner 3-1. Then Maitland quickly scored back as it was 3-2. But it was Western who secured a win. Meanwhile, to the Hunters Women's Premier League, and Charlestown Azuri went up to Taree to beat the home side, the Mid-Coast, 5-0. Also, Charlestown scored the first goal. Because of that, they scored 4 more. Three more became enough. Two more goals quickly became the good damage for the as Charlestown beat the mid-coast. Then one more goal came as Charlestown annihilated the mid-north coast 5-0. Meanwhile, still on rugby league, and the Newcastle competition was of course great. And of course, it was amazing when Maitland took on Wyong. Maitland defeated Wyong with one of the best victories of all. And of course, Maitland were too strong for Wyong. Maitland defeated their away rivals with a 28-16 win. Meanwhile, it was still a match at the very death for both Cessnock and South's Newcastle, but Cessnock ended up winning the match against Souths. Even though South's Newcastle scored a try, but it was not enough, as the Cessnock Goannas won. And of course, round 10 of the Group 21 Rugby League also became huge. Muswellbrook secured a 2-point win over Greater Branxton, 28-26, while Singleton demolished Aberdeen 24-16, and Scone upset Denman 52-16. Meanwhile, in the NSWRL's Jersey Flag Cup, the Knights had a massive Sunday, beating the West Tigers 20-0. And of course, because of that, the Knights scored every 4-pointer right throughout the entire game. And because of that, the Knights became the best team, scoring the best tries and kicking the most goals. Well, that's NBN's local sports Newcastle news, and don't forget, from all of us here, good night.